our technical development will facilitate that. He's really that's why I have a technical coaching. We just need, he's needing more help with some of just like, and that is this, and that's genuinely, this is interesting. You can do your full job. A little bit of this. Keep building your resume. Because that's part of it, right? Like it's just keep building your resume.
Everyone agreed to get better, so.
So you've been to the vortex? I love it. What did you see? Was it a long time ago?
I would like to start off with these are just you know, this is the I don't remember.
Love it. Love it. You can stop right there. I totally get that.
But yeah, I think it's quite that I don't remember the title.
That's fine.
I also use that this was for
love it. Doesn't even matter past that. And that's what I love about the theater master is that it's really just like, it's great. Let's give people opportunities. Here's a safe space. And that's kind of theater in general. Let's and so we want to help facilitate that. That's awesome. That's awesome. And it's a lovely space. There's the indoor theater, there's the outside space, and stage. It's a nice space, yeah. Good memories. Good memories of because it's like the
yeah, so Sunday morning, like they provide coffee and everybody brings it.
You're a master. Are there any Windows users that are presenting? Or you're all Macs?
I'm just talking.
Are you giving a talk?
I'm presenting, but I'm just talking.
Oh, you're just talking? Perfect, that's fine. Good, we're good to go.
Which one's there?
Take a left.
It's in my neighborhood. So hopefully people show up.
I mean, some girl recognized me solely based on that. I was checking her photos when she was like, nerdy. Like when you did.
Yes. You're like that on that.
Okay. And then I think it's do the shading.
That's what I can do for them. Like, which you don't have a ceiling, it's like OCD. I only need one.
And at least when you're decided, it's on this page, and you're going to page and all that color.
Oh, yeah.
And the markings.
Yeah, I hate that. It's like,
I saw like the write-ups.
I don't know.
I didn't see
Riding the flow.
That was good. I was really hungry.
Me too. I was like,
Hello everyone, welcome to the Lightning Talks. My name is Ophelia. I haven't met some of you, but some of you have, so welcome if you're your first time here or you're training. So our lovely sponsor this month was Dev Bootcamp. So thank Kelly and all the fabulous people at Dev Bootcamp for the tacos and the wine and all the other stuff, yummy stuff you get to eat today. But Kelly's gonna come up here in a few seconds and then talk about Dev Bootcamp, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I know that she has to run off, but if you do want to talk to her more, I can get you in contact with her. And we have like 6 presenters, so I was thinking we would do the first 3, and then we take a little break, and then we could introduce ourselves, and then we'll finish up the last 3. All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Let's welcome Kelly.
Hi y'all. So good to be here. Yeah, I recognize a lot of faces. I went to the Super Bowl last night, which is bucket list, and the Patriots won. I'm from New England, so I have no voice right now. I'm literally on cloud 9. I have chills talking about it. I might cry again, but just want to throw that out there. After this, I'm going to clean a yoga studio, so I'm just like all over the map, you know. But so yeah, we love Women Who Code. Dev Bootcamp. I'm not sure if y'all have heard of us. We're the first ever coding school. We've been around for almost 5 years. Newer to Austin as of a year ago. We're an 18-week program. We teach full stack web development to beginners. Nice to see you. Or basically all backgrounds of code. Whether you were a stay-at-home mom for 15 years and you're coming back to work and you want to learn a new skill, or you were a computer science degree, or we have someone in our program right now who's a landscape architecture person, like anyone really. We don't take developers, we take people that want to learn, right? So, and with that, we're a little, there's a lot of schools in town. So if you want to like kind of get through the confusion of who's does what, I encourage you to come in for a tour. You can meet our whole staff. We really care about our students. I'm sure everyone does, but truthfully, we offer engineering empathy as a part of our program, where we go over the soft skills that we think are really important. When we graduate you, we want you to be a good, well-rounded human. We love all the groups in town and try to do a lot in this city. So if you have any questions about this program, you can email me. If you feel like there's an event missing in the tech space, I'd be happy to create that and host it. Speaking of events, this Thursday we're partnering with Lesbians Who Tech on an event. Tara Bunch is coming in to speak. She reports to the CEO of Apple. She's the VP of Apple Care. So she'll be in our space Thursday. It's a free event again, or is it Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Sorry, good night, Super Bowl. Wednesday, I'll be there. Don't worry, Wednesday. She'll be there Wednesday, not Thursday. That's on our meetup page, Dev Bootcamp Austin. And again, even if you're not looking to come through the program, we want to be a part of this community, like I said. So please reach out if you want to come speak to students, whatever it may be. Again, love Women Who Code. We do a lot of events with them. We have a Galentine's Day event coming up with them. February 15th at our space. I have paid my favorite yoga instructor in town to come do a free class at the space, and I'll have dessert and wine. So if you like yoga, dessert, and wine, please join us. Again, that's on our meetup page and on Women Who Codes. So yeah, we do a lot of fun things like that and teach people to change their careers. And in fact, I'm a little sentimental because we had a student, I did a marketing thing this week where I was like, why did you choose Dev Bootcamp? What was it? And she said, you brought tacos to a Women Who Code event, and you said, this is for the woman who was a stay-at-home mom. And she's like, and I am. And now, anyway, she's one of our students. So, love this group so much. I have to go clean a yoga studio. We'll give back to the community thing. But hope you all have a great night. And I'm Kelly at devbootcamp.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take the taco.
Thank you.
You bought it.
Are you ready?
Yeah, you're ready.
Okay, sure.
Karen's so excited to come up here.
I'm just,
So Karen's going to give a talk. Do you need? You got it.
It's actually just like a slide or two. It's
Okay.
Nothing.
Do you have airplane?
I do. Does it have airplane?
Yeah.
Holly. I've only been doing this 3.5 years.
Any of you need Wi-Fi passwords? Grab this little
Yeah, I
card.
just have to make sure.
Or red tacos that I can give you one.
Show up. Cool. Right on.
Karen Kelly, and this is my second time talking in front of one of these. Another one was for a different place I was volunteering for, but I know some of y'all don't. But I am a huge fan of Women Who Code. I've been coming to meetups and been involved with the group for the last couple of years. The first year I probably wasn't that involved because I was like super intimidated. I had never coded anything about 2.5 years ago. Okay, so I was at that point, like previous to that, for about a decade, I had been doing sales. Now there was software sales, but still it was sales. It's a lot different from coding, as you can imagine. Why I titled this, You Are Not on a Timeline, is because I have a very non-traditional path that I followed. And some of y'all may be on a traditional path, you know, maybe traditional for you, not traditional for others. But what I want to say is that it doesn't matter what your timeline is. If you want to make a change and you have the means to make a change, not everybody, you know, can just quit their job and go to school, but perhaps go to classes after work, whatever. It's something that I think everybody should be encouraged to look towards rather than just sticking with, oh, hi, there's my puppies.
You can move to the podium if you want.
Oh, yeah, that's true, I guess, huh? I think I was still plugged in. Yeah, so, I mean, this is, you know, oh, that's shaky. This is the, you know, the so-called traditional timeline that a lot of people think they have to be on. So, you know, you go to school and then you get a job, you get married, you have kids, you know, you work, you save money, and then you retire. And some people do that. My parents did that. Maybe a lot of your parents did it. Maybe some of you are doing it. I'm not judging one way or the other, but mine was a little different because basically after high school, I hated high school and I didn't want to go any further. So I, at the time, the guy that I was dating, who turned into my husband, who then turned into my ex-husband, him and I started a business together. So we started a print shop. So I did the print shop for a while and then I got tired of being married to him, so I left him, and that's when I actually went back to school. So I started college, you know, when I was 25. And then I started going for one thing, and then about 2 years into it, I decided I didn't like that thing, so I changed. And one of the reasons that I changed is I was doing speech language pathology, and I switched to psychology. And one of the reasons that spurred me to do that was one of my psychology professors, who I really had a lot of gratitude for this, is he told me, he's like, don't set yourself on a timeline. Don't think that because everybody else has these certain goals that they have to do, like by a certain age, or because that's what society tells them to do, don't think that that's something that you have to do as well. You're not on a timeline. You can make your own path, okay? And so that's really what I did. So I went through college. I did a year exchange program in Australia. Once I graduated from college, I only had a bachelor's in psychology, which, if anybody knows about anything about a bachelor's in psychology, you can't really do a lot. You have to get a master's or preferably a PhD. And at that point, because I put myself through college and I paid for everything, I was neck deep in student debt, and I decided that I wanted to start working. So that's when I started working for a software company, and this is in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I'm from. And I worked there for a while, and the first few years it was great. I had a great boss, the company was great, everything was great, and then we got bought out by a larger company and things just kind of went downhill. I went to another company, that wasn't great, and it just kept getting shittier and shittier. So I decided at that point, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I don't like doing sales. It's depressing. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to have to look at another job advertisement, for sales, because they all say the same stupid stuff. It's just like, we need a go-getter, we need somebody that's hungry, we need this, and I'm just like, oh, screw it. I don't want to do that anymore. So I thought about what it was that I did want to do. And I thought back to some of the software companies I had worked for. And one of the things that inspired me was that there are several women programmers that worked at these companies, and they were awesome. And I was like, God, if they can do that, well, I can do that too, because I love to solve problems, and I love to, do anything with a computer. Technology was awesome for me. So that's when I decided to quit my job and start becoming a programmer. And at this point, I'm 46 years old. Okay, I'm 48 today. So as you can see, my timeline is strange. It's different. You know, a lot of you are younger than me, maybe some of you are older than me, it doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is that I didn't let my age or the fact that, you know, people don't quit their jobs when they're my age to start something completely different. And if you find something that you want to do and you find something that you love, don't let, you know, the so-called timeline hold you back. Go for it. Do it. It'll make you happy, I promise. And that's it. There we go. If you want to drop me a note, follow me on Twitter. There's my Twitter account, that's my LinkedIn and an email account. If you want to get in touch with me, say hi, ask me any questions about what I did, how I got there. I went to a boot camp, by the way, not Dev Bootcamp, but I did go to Galvanize, so if you have any questions about that. And I also did a lot of research about boot camps before I chose Galvanize, so I can give you some background on some of the other ones that I researched as well. Anyway, thank you very much.
I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Questions?
Yeah, so like, have you experienced like the social pressure of people like telling you like, do you think this is a good idea, and how do you cope with that?
You know, I actually, when I made the decision to change, I have a super supportive husband, and he was, you know, he's all for it. He just wanted me to be happy because he knew how unhappy I was with my job. So I didn't get a lot of pushback there. The biggest pushback I got probably about my age was just reading articles about how people, you know, technology companies have ageism and they don't want to hire anybody that's old or older. So that's what freaked me out the most. But you know what? A month after graduation, I landed a great job, and I'm very happy there. And so a lot of these things that I thought were going to happen, you know, being a woman in tech and someone that's older in tech, didn't quite pan out the way that, you know, I envisioned, and that's a good thing. So yeah. Were there any other questions?
What's the dream job?
What's the dream
The
job?
dream job that you got that you're so happy with?
Oh, I'm a full stack developer, full stack web developer. So yeah, and it's like I said, it's super cool. I want to do more. Obviously, I'm just like in baby steps. I've only been there for 3 months, but it's you know, I do get to, you know, problem solve a lot of stuff, and I get to, you know, work with a lot of really great people, and that's, for me, it's awesome.
Any other questions? All right.
Okay.
Thank you so
Well, and if you do want to ask something, you know, just ping me.
I don't want to ask anything, but I want to add something.
Yes.
So I met Karen.
Hi.
Hi. At the diversity hackathon, and I was volunteering and made an impromptu pitch and somehow talked her into working with me. She did all the coding, and our project won one of the prizes.
Yes. I think it was your first hackathon too, right?
Yes.
So it was our first hackathon, and we won a prize, and we were thrilled. So yeah, we're gonna go. Woo! Well,
Thank you for sharing. Karen, sorry about that. So what we have next is Kelly. She's going to be talking about the importance of networking, which is all great that you guys all came out here, because you'll get to do that here shortly. But yeah, so pretty excited about this one. So let's
Kelly!
So little image here that I like to use for these kinds of things because I feel like it's never a bad idea. Which under AirPlay, what are we looking for?
Classroom.
You have the code?
It's behind you.
Capital Factory.
We can't do this alone, guys. Come on.
Remember.
I think all tech meetups should have technical difficulties.
Right, never gets me out. So hi, my name is Kelly Garcia, and I'm here to talk about the importance of networking. And one important thing that I want to ask you guys right now: how many of you in this room have heard of me before this event? Alright, so look around. There was like 4 people that raised their hands. Now every single one of you in this room knows who I am. And that right there is the importance of networking. Guys, we gotta get out there. You have to be visible in this industry in order to be impactful. And some people might disagree with that statement, but I do not. Because the more that I get out of network, the more impactful the things I do are. For example, we did an event for Country Girls Can Code through Women Who Code recently. So 52 girls in rural areas learned how to do an iOS app, and they learned HTML and CSS and got to make a web page. Now, that experience alone was incredibly beneficial, but I got to connect with more people through Women Who Code that I really never spent much time with. Got to put names to faces, kind of got to hang out, and really, sorry, I'm gonna breathe a little bit. It's the other thing, don't be afraid of public speaking, it's not that bad. Like I said, you're gonna remember my name, is that nervous girl that got up there. It's okay. So I'm an Android and iOS developer. I got into this, it's kind of a long story and I don't want to impart that right now. However, I didn't really know about networking until the last 3 years. It really became a more important part of my life, and ever increasing. So it's kind of one of those things where I go hang out with my buddies and I'd want to talk tech. But you can't really talk to your barista buddy about what's going on in technology. They're really not beneficial there. So the thing you have to do
Ask you to fix your computer.
yeah, can you fix my computer? Like, no, can you fix my phone? What's going on with this app? I don't know. But the more you get out there and the more people you meet, the better it feels to be a part of this community. I mean, all of us sitting here can do amazing things. But if we're individualized, we don't really, you feel confident with yourself, but isn't it so much better to have people around you that are doing kind of similar things and can empower you? You can find yourself a mentor, you can find yourself some buddies, you can be sitting in this room right now, you can go to anything you want to go to. That's another important part. Do not feel like, here we go. Do not feel like you can't go to a meetup because it's out of your league or not what you're doing. Some of the most fun events that I go to, OzCon for example, huge blast. I don't really do a whole lot of open source stuff, but man, that was so much fun. Got to meet so many people. And then through the networking aspect of that, got contacted by a lot of people, which led me to different areas and different meetups, which got to be really fun. The more you go in your career, the more specialized you can get, but don't discount. Get your name out there. Brand yourselves, guys. Ladies, brand yourselves. It is so important. I cannot tell you how many times I've been to places, and all of a sudden it comes back up later, like, hey, talking about this person. Like, do you know this person? Oh, yes, I do. How do I know them? Through networking. When you go to meetups, when you go do networking, when you meet someone, if you feel like you want to follow up this person, do it. The worst that can happen is they don't do it back, but what you're going to find about this community is that we're all really responsive. For example, how many people have a new Twitter handle that they're going to follow right now? Exactly. See? That's important. Get up here and don't be afraid. One of the directors of Women Who Code posted in the Slack channel one day, was having a problem with iOS. I pinged her. We literally worked through the problem in Slack. That was monumental to me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. Mobile developers are few and far between around here, but by the way, would love to see more. Anyway, and from just helping each other out, we decided to meet up. We talked. We have a lot more in common. That led to doing the Country Girls Can Code thing. I'm also a member of Lesbians Who Tech with our benevolent leader right here. So they need him.
Benevolent leader.
Now you
You're
don't
like
need
it.
Now you don't stand
You don't
too.
even have to do a lightning talk. Sounds like a dictator. Benevolent leader. That is, she gave me the title.
I did give her that time. We don't actually call her that, but not to her face.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. There's too much that we can be doing for us not to do it. And honestly, if recruiters are the only way to go, we're all screwed. You just find where you need to be and move around, but you have to be willing to do it. And yeah, it's intimidating at first, it is. But as long as you're willing to do it, put in the effort, put in the time, talk to people. I mean, if you don't know what you want to do, people are going to help you find your way. Also, you never know who you're going to impact by getting out there and talking. You may not just empower an entire room and walk out and be like, bam, I'm done. But maybe something you say resonates with someone and sticks with them, because we all have incredibly unique and diverse stories. And how do we find that out unless we talk about them, we tell each other about them? So that right there, to me, in particular is the importance of networking. So. Thank you all for listening. I can give my Twitter handle and everything at the end, but at this point, I'll field some questions if anyone has any. If not,
I don't, oh,
Yeah. So I know there's a lot of networking in the meetups here in Austin, but which of the ones have you found most impactful to you that you found that the ones you're mentioning in your example, your presentation?
what was I mentioning in my presentation? So, doing events like this with Women Who Code, listening to lightning talks, because I feel like you really get a good snippet. And it's like, how many times have we talked about networking in general as people have read about networking? That's fantastic, it's all well and good, but I felt like I had something a little more to add, so I did. So being able to do lightning talks and listen to them is, I think is a really unique experience. Obviously Lesbian to Tech does a lot of great things as well. Conferences are great, but you know, being able to hear what each other has to say and then talk about it with each other afterwards, those are the kind of meetups that really impact me the most.
Thank you.
No problem.
I wasn't going to ask you anything, I was going to just mention something. Now, I know this has to do with my former work as a salesperson, but 4 out of the last 5 jobs that I got in sales were all through networking. It was all the people I knew, and I'm sure it's probably going to be the same way in tech. So the more people you know, the more contacts you get, and the Women Who Code Slack channel is amazing for helping people get leads and saying, you know, hey, look, we're looking for this type of person, you know, I work there, come work with us. I mean, that's, you know, it's amazing. You know, networking is the best.
I agree with that. If you're not on the Women Who Code Slack channel, I highly recommend getting on it. It is a phenomenal group of women. They all there to help each other out.
Yeah, tons of great channels, you know,
Yeah.
like I think they have an iOS channel, a React channel, they got a random channel.
We have a
just
code
for
review
stuff.
channel now, which I'm so psyched about.
Which one?
Code review.
Oh yes, the code review, that's
review
awesome.
channel.
And then there's also a jobs channel where you can go and look at people post jobs there, so yeah, if you're not on Women Who Code Slack,
Yes. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely get on it. And actually on that note, I will tell one more little anecdotal thing about the importance of networking. My name came up in a conversation at a company who was looking to hire an Android engineer. And through networking, Women Who Code, and also networking with people that had left the company that I work for now, 2 people in the room on a team of 4 both said, we know her. And were able to talk to me outside of it. Now, I didn't take the job, however, that was pretty cool to me. You know, I mean, it wasn't a recruiter contacting me, it wasn't anything like that. They both contacted me and said, hey, you came up and would you be willing to talk to us on the team? Sure, absolutely. So, I mean, put yourself out there, get your name known.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. We're all in this together and you'll find something eventually that will stick with you or help you out in some way. Join Women Who Code on Slack.
Actually, you can write down the link to sign up on the board.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
If anyone has.
Oh, and also, do not forget to be awesome. That as well.
You're awesome. That's good.
So are you.
And meetups are a really great way to network, not just Women Who Code, there's a ton of other great meetups out there.
There's a book actually. With basically the same section.
I do want to add a little tidbit. I moved here like a year and a half ago, and many of you have probably heard the story, but I came to a Women Who Code event and I got hired. I got a job a month later because I came here and I made sure that I networked with people because I don't know anyone here and I need to find a job and I need to meet people. And Kelly was talking about Sada, who isn't here today or isn't here right now. I got my last job because of her. She just happened to have my resume and she's like, here, I know someone, and I got a job. She's like, I didn't have to do anything. And so I think that when you have people like that who are advocating for you and making sure that they want you to move forward, I think that's a great place to be, and I think that's what Women Who Code has been for me, and I hope that Women Who Code can be that for you too, if that's what you want. Overall, it's just like a huge support system because I always love coming to this stuff because I always feel so inspired. So hopefully you feel the same way. But we're gonna have one more before break. I know, Cece, if you don't know, Cece told us at the end of last year that she's gonna do one lightning talk every month.
Oh, that's
For
right. I
the-
saw that on Slack. That's
For the
cool.
year, yeah, for this entire year. So far she's kept with her promise, which I'm so excited about.
Is this the first one for the year?
No, I mean,
Oh, you did one
January,
in January.
yeah.
Okay.
I need to finish this next.
Yep. So here am I, February. So today I want to talk about environment variables, and so this term comes up even before I become a software developer. Usually comes up when something doesn't work, like some of my software doesn't work, and then someone will come and say, oh, you have to set this environment variables to this, and I did, and then the problem is solved, and I'll be like, okay, move on. And I never really bother to look up what it is and whatever, and then I switch my career, which I feel so strong with your topic. I think it's like, if you want to switch career, go switch your career. But anyway, I switched to career, I go through a coding bootcamp as well, and I got this new job, and I just started my new job for, I think this is 1 month. Today will be 1 month of my new job. So like the first month, what I did was a lot of time just setting up my environment. And then like this environment variable thing just come out so much. I feel like, okay, now I'm a software developer, I probably should really understand what it is. So here I am, I'm going to share with you what I found, and also I have to say, like, I'm new here, I'm not the expert of this, so if I say something wrong, please correct me. Yeah. So anyway, what is environment variable? Basically, just like a regular variable in your program, like your int I, like your var, depends on what language you use. So it is just a variable, but instead of it's in your program, it's about the environment that you run in. It's a variable for the environment you run in. It's like your computer or your server that your program runs in. Yeah, I copied that from Wikipedia, which I still don't really understand what it means. But so this is environment variable. And how do you find environment variables? So because this is an environment thing, so it's pretty easy. Like in your console, just type set or print env. So I'm gonna, can you see here? Okay. So here I'll just print env. Okay, so then you can see it'll print out all the environment variables. And like, I don't know if you can see, but like the left of the equal sign is your name of the environment variable. On the right, it's the value of the environment variable. And there's a bunch. This is mine, like everybody's different. This is mine. And you can see there's a bunch. For example, there's home. So home is basically just your home directory. So it is useful, for example, if you want to write a program and then you want to save a file to people's home directory. And my home directory is probably different from other people's home directory. So it is impossible for you to hard code home directory in your program. So at this time, you want to use a variable instead of just hard code your stuff. So in that case, you can just use, so echo is basically print in your console, and then $ home, and this will print out the environment, the value of that variable. So basic $ is kind of how you get to that, the value of the environment variable. So yeah, so that's what I say, like echo, like print $ your variable name. So here is an example of environmental home. It's a big one, and it's your home directory. Another one, if you do a lot of Java stuff, or I think it just comes up a lot. So it's a Java home. It's where all your Java files are. So this is useful, like if you're doing Android development and like it uses Java. So how does it know where all your Java files is? It's in this Java home directory. So yeah, so that's another one. So after that, like, how do you set your environment variables? It's pretty simple. It's like you don't even have to use the export. You can just say your variable name equals to whatever value, and there's no space here. So it would just no space. And export it's makes a variable to known for child process, which is another rabbit hole I haven't 100% understand, so I'm just gonna skip here. But yeah, so okay, so another big environment is the path. So what is path? Path is if you have an executable, so like you can run some program. The path, if you like type a executable like command in your console will go through the all the variables in the path, and they will find if that executable exists. And if it exists, it will run. So what it means is, for example, like ls is actually a command. So this ls, when you type ls, how does the console know what to do? Like it goes through this. It goes through all these directories and then find a executable called ls, and it will run whatever piece of code there. And all these variables are separated by columns. I don't know if you can see. I think it's definitely smaller than I expected. Okay. So yeah, so it's separated by columns. So I don't know if you're familiar with executables. So for example, here is my work directory. In my work directory, I have an executable called test env-var. And if you want to see what it is, it basically just print out we're testing environment variables at one of code. So that's it. And you can execute it in this folder. It will just print it out. But the problem is, okay, sure, I'll print out, I'll execute it here. But what if I want to execute this somewhere else? So here, this is my, let me go to my home. So this is my home directory. And if I want to execute it, I can like type the whole directory, and then you will execute. But that's just a lot of pain. So the one way to do it is you can set your environment variables. So this means I have the path, and the path is now equals to your original path plus this new directory. So now if I do that, I can just execute this command here, and it will actually run. So that's what the path is doing. So it is good for making shortcuts in this sense, and yeah, so you don't have to type in the whole directory all the time. So this is path. And the problem is if you just do the set, like if you close your console and then you reopen it, like this path is being gone. So the way to save it is to actually modify this either like you will have one of these files, dot profile or dot bash profile. These are hidden profiles, so you may, if you just type ls, you're not gonna see it. But if you see it all, you will see mine is in bash profile, so you will see it. So the way to do it is that you save your environment there. So let's talk about another one, PS1. So PS1 is the default prompt. So what is default prompt? It's basically like this little thing here. This is the default prompt, and you can modify what it looks like if you with your environment variables. And here's a website that you can modify your prompt generator. So you can kind of drag and then change color. For example, like if I want it to be red and the background to be this color, you can change it here, and this will generate your corresponding environment variable for you. And what you have to do is just change. Now I have this PS1, and I'll just replace with this. And now after you change it, you have to source it because it doesn't know you changed it already. And you can see my prompt changed. So yeah, you can modify all your prompt and then all that.
What's the name of that website again?
It's called Bash Profile Generator. Yeah. So I think it's very interesting, and there's other places you will see environment variables, which actually, if you do a lot of web programming, you will see this a lot. So, for example, this is like your own. You can define your environment variable too. So, for example, you can define this is a database I want to connect, and you do not hard code your database URL IP in there. Like usually you will set an environment variable. So like if you're development on your own computer, you can set to a localhost database, and if you're doing production, then you can set the variable on your production server to point to other server. So you don't have to hard code everything. And plus, it's just best practice to kind of commit these things, especially in like public GitHub. So yeah, like. Also, like your keys, like definitely don't commit those in GitHub. These you should definitely set environment and set it on your local machines or your server. So yeah, that's all.
Does anyone have any questions for Stacey?
Where do you work?
I just started in D. This is really a month.
Oh, that's cool.
Like last month was like January 2nd, and I started January 3rd.
Okay.
So yeah.
How exciting.
Yep.
What are you doing there?
I'm kind of getting stuck in this backend role, and I've been joining SQL tables.
Oh,
That's like what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks.
wee.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to learn about environment variables and the all-inclusive and a very excellent breakdown of what all that entails? How long did it take you to figure out each of these things, if you can ballpark?
Actually, I think it probably took me a good week. I mean, I know the part that you should not commit to GitHub, like your own self-defined environment. They teach us in the coding bootcamp. But all these like PS1 or the path kind of thing, yeah, I think I probably spent a week to compile all these all my questions. This is actually my own questions I have for myself. So yeah, yeah. I also want to say
What bootcamp did you go to?
Oh, I went to Maker Square. I think it's called Hagrid actually now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say like it was really fun to do all these lightning talks, and as you can see, I'm not the expert of these questions, and it is usually I come up with some questions I don't know and I really want to know, and then I'll research it, and I think this is a very friendly group. So even if you said something wrong, people are just gonna correct you and then give you even more information about this topic, and so it's actually a really good way to learn. And then I'm forcing myself to learn for a month, for a year, which is okay. I probably should do this even longer, but yeah.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
How about we take a little 10-minute break so we can come back here at 7:50, and then we can introduce ourselves and finish up with the last lightning task. And feel free to eat the rest of the food. There's chips, pretzels, cookies, lots of wine. I'm sorry.
If you use Windows, there's I think there's a system setting you can find your so it's a slide. I don't know how you do
Everything that you said has brought back a lot of things.
The environment variable is big and unique as well. About profiles, everything else. I saw you even do VI. It's like, oh my god, you're doing VI.
I know, right? Like I actually learned VI. Like actually I was a hardware engineer before, and then we use a lot of Unix. Right? Hardware. For some reason, hardware programs are always.
It's real time, right? There's no encapsulation or anything like that. Everything you write is gonna run, So.
Yeah, I kind of like VI. I think it's because like you calculate all the movement, you your hand never leaves the keyboard. It can be horrible.
So you just start coding all of this like a year or how long ago did you learn coding?
When I was college, actually I do some research. I do a lot of test shooting for test shooting is very different from actual correction. Yeah, scripting kind of like for very
Right. So which company did you say you work for? Oh, yes, I saw it. Yeah, I heard it.
Is this your first? Oh, so I'm sorry, I thought the door was behind me.
Oh, just me. This is the non-profit. Put out to sandwiches. Actually, when I read I saw one of them passing out sandwiches at the end of I'm actually looking for I work at it was at I do every time at the end of the and I like to go back to technology centric so if there's anything you need that you can
They went into depth.
yeah. Oh,
So yeah,
joke on mine,
I give up this is hard. It's weird. I don't know why.
I've been in.
In the office, is that all of this?
Yeah.
No, it's.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
So they just collect information from job posting and applicants and then try to match.
I've seen that a lot now. I know that there's organizations during the summer though.
Kind of call. Not really call. They apply all the jobs. And then you can like you can apply jobs.
So you're working on some theater release or application
Not so much here in well, you also like more into here.
That's pretty cool.
Part of it is all this now. Started
I just got the whole it's like, oh, this is like from memories.
I don't know what's going
She left us out of the so I was getting notifications. I love your hair. The first thing I thought about it, I was like, oh, thanks. That was her bring them what I learned.
They're like you're touching. They're like it's like
Essentially like move it, but you should make it like a sign out of this video, like like introvert versus extrovert, you know? That's what I really
really involved in
Oh yeah, that's I actually put my headphones
No, I just walk around when I leave my office and they're like,
Nonprofit.
I like it. Like one person was like,
That's when.
Stories that posted on how you know, it's like,
How much?
okay, let's see.
Let's see what was I doing that day?
it's like,
Work.
oh, shut up, she's stressed. So that's why.
It was very.
So
it's I get the audition, like the options.
it's not
Yes.
Commercials.
No, so we're live theater.
Oh.
We're live theater. There's some stuff that exists for film and commercials, but we're live theater.
That's cool.
This is the
A lot of the software that exists is for like, how do you handle your founders? How do you coordinate your teams?
Oh yeah, this is the team.
This is the team.
What did I do?
Yeah, this is the.
Now that I've been to one.
I think that, yeah, I think that then you might get to know who might be.
There's a statue.
Here's the thing that help is that no, I can tell you right now, it's
It's like side project.
I should go to.
But you're supposed to do, well, we try to do that. It's more difficult to get in right now.
Those are
Super
fun.
and I'm gonna definitely do that.
Is it really? Oh my god.
Thank you
Building software.
I was lucky because I had made an actually good real estate investment. I sold my house and I had enough money that I was able to stop, which was good. Of course, I used some of it. Yeah, but I was like, okay, yeah, I'll make more.
It's like I need to learn faster than just like, but the six of us can handle.
You know, I just mentioned this in my talk, but start off yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, but I did learn the basics, so I will give them that one. But as far as access to instructors, terrible, slow, when they did answer, their answers were terrible. I mean, there was a couple of them that were really good. I liked. Yeah, and they were using like old textbooks.
Well, yes, and that's like,
yeah, and it did give me new things to come in. I needed to know to start with. Yeah, that's okay. But I suppose that's kind of like my high school, right? And then right. So that's the bachelor, that was the bachelor's and the master's and galvanized and for sure.
how much did you know before you started the other company that you like? We're actually doing something.
I
genuinely creating products.
Kill sequel and just
Detailed conversation.
I used to have kind of shy about getting emails manually. And some people still hear this. And you know, in her bachelor's, and I
basic math concentration. I'm just like, but I did have to take like for my degree, I had to situation and when I first graduated, so they're like, yeah, those are count. And then by the time I was almost done, they're like, those are gonna count. You have to these. Yeah, much more accurate. I don't like the comments. Yeah. You go back to class. Just yeah, right. Yeah. Right now I'm just like, that's kind of how I feel about this online class. I'm just finishing it. I'm 2 months, 2 maybe 3 months. And so we're kind of like we're not done. I'm having trouble. I just enjoyed it to just start learning and then how do I get that running? Do I really It's all the basic things. So if you learn that you want to pick it up easier. There is, and I'm sure the others have other coaches are part-time, in-person. Yes, like what I need. Yes, like that's the thing. And I think I want to say that's like we're just in 3 hours. It's like out, right? And it's downtown. Our travel. But no, in fact, that will like a person there, and usually those classes. Yeah, that would be great. It's just like kind of really well, which is like you're learning all these things, but you're not sure like why. It's like I get that from high school to college. What am I ever gonna actually do? Right, exactly. Like what is the purpose of knowing this? That was one of the things I liked about gathering. Was it just really basic, right? And it really was that kind of yeah. You know, instead of like, have you ever heard of Lodash? Okay, so there's a library called Lodash that has all these like basic JavaScript functions, like a math function, and things like that, right? We had to build all that whole Lodash from scratch. So we knew again, I always but it was difficult because we had certain things that you should be able to do. You had to understand characters as all these this is why I'm like, that makes sense, right? So it will start making it first when you're doing it.
Hello, ladies. Yes. I love that you guys are all networking.
Right?
We're gonna go ahead and get started for the sake of time.
Hey, ladies.
Hi. Thank you. So I was thinking, as well as Holly, that'd be cool if we could go around and introduce ourselves. I think that's one of my favorite parts because you learn new faces and networking. So I can go ahead and get started. My name's Ophelia. I moved here about 1.5 years ago, and I've been with Women Who Code a little under 1.5 years. I started helping with little small tasks, and then Helly let me help her with lightning tasks.
I was like, you can do all of it.
So I've had a lot of fun over the past 1.5 years-ish. But I work for a company that's based out of Sydney. They used to have an office in Austin, but they decided to move to Chicago. So I work remotely. I do quality assurance for them. That is a lot of fun. I really like QA. I like that it is like in between like customer service in one sense because I like talking to people and I like talking to different types of groups within a company, and I also love that you help find problems and you can can tell people like, hey, this is not right, this is not working. I don't know what it is about that I really love, but yeah, so far I'm pretty new to the role, but slowly learning. If you think that there isn't enough resources for people trying to learn to code, just try to find resources for quality assurance because they're close and non-existent. But yeah,
Creative.
yeah, that I know. I was talking about that the other day. But who wants to go next? Do you want to go next?
Okay. Hi, I'm Sam Needham. Not the benevolent leader of Lesbians for Tech, simply the Austin director. I actually wrote my first line of code 18 years ago, but I haven't written code in 10 years. I'm on the product and marketing side of things. Love tech, love being a mentor. Really, think everything you guys are doing here is awesome and love to support all the different stuff. And Lightning Talks have been amazing, so thanks for having me and nice to meet everyone.
Hi, my name is Cece. Yeah, I think I talked enough about myself there, so nice to meet everyone.
Yeah, hi, I'm Karen again. You heard enough about me. If you want to know more, you can ask. Okay, next.
I'm Hannah Oppenheimer. I moved to Austin in October, and I'm a designer and developer from Sketch and Photoshop to CSS to Ruby and JavaScript. I work remotely, so I'm pretty lonely all day. I said this last time I was here, so I sound crazy. But I also started a meetup a couple weeks ago. And
What's your meetup called?
It is called Texas Outdoors. It is a pun on the word tech, so you won't be able to look it up because you'll forget how it's spelled. Great SEO. And it's for anybody in tech or not who want to do things outdoors.
Oh, cool.
I had 2 meetups last week. One of them was a bike ride and coffee over on the east side. Another one was running on the green belt and tacos. And only my boyfriend showed up, so yeah, I'm just gonna keep throwing meetups until people show up, and then more people show up. It'll be great. But yeah, find us on Meetup, and this weekend I'm doing a very easy hike. So don't think this is a hike for hikers. It is a hike for people who
For indoorsy people.
Endorsing.
30 minutes. There will be a waterfall.
I like those.
I said, is it at the mall? We're hiking up the stairs. We could do that.
Are you on the Slack channel?
I just got on the Slack channel, so
Can you
share
post?
it there.
Yeah,
Yes.
post it up.
I was gonna say, write the name on
Yeah,
the board
how
since you
hard
said
is
it.
it? I'm trying to look it up right now.
And then I also was, gonna ask if anybody had ideas for outdoorsy things they want to do and they don't have any friends that like to do that thing, just let me know because I will be your friend.
Nice.
That's cute.
And not TECHUS, Tex.
Should have. Too late. So yeah, cool. Thanks. You're next.
Hi, my name is Tu. THU, you pronounce it number 2, but it's Vietnamese and it means books. I am the IT director at Mobile Loaf Solutions. It's a nonprofit here in Austin, Texas, helping the homeless and the poor. We have trucks going out to the street of Austin every day, passing out sandwiches and clothes and water, and we are building a 27-acre master plan on the east side of Austin, micro homes and RVs, and trying to lift 250 people off the street and into those homes. So being the IT director, I got to do everything from wiring, set up internet to doing database and do website and all of it. And it's really, really fun. But my previous life, I was a software developer and software manager. So I just like to get back to the technology side, I think. It's so many things going on, and I got into one of the technical meetup meeting, and then when I listened to like CC talk about environment, I was like, that's like Unix, you know. It's brought up a lot of memories, a lot of excitement to be like get your hands dirty in the coding and the software. So I'm just hoping to be able to do that. Thanks.
I'm gonna stand in front of everybody. Hello, this is my first time. Long story long, my therapist said I needed to do something creative. I started a small side business. It turns out it's kind of, people are buying it, not so small. And it's a piece of software that we're building. And we need some people to come help us. We've got a little seed money and we're trying to bring on more. We've got a team of 6. And we're doing essentially recruiting software. There's some very specific things that we're doing because the target is live theater. And if I can hire and create a culture that I want to create a culture that I want. I want to create a community that I want to be a part of. I want to have every hour dance break instead of, you know. Yeah, so yeah, we went to the Feminist Who Hack and we're recruiting from women who code, and I'm going to be at the lesbian tech one because I want people that are comfortable with people, and 4 of the 6 of us are women and 2 of the 6 of us love different kinds of people, and there's just, So here I am. We're looking to bring people onto our team. Yay. I am a unicorn in the sense that I'm a 4th generation Austinite.
Wow.
So they do exist, and now you all know one because you're networking here tonight. Mary. And can I write the name of our company?
Go ahead, yeah. What jobs are you hiring for?
A lot of developers. So again, it's getting bigger, faster, and we've got a technical, and we've got somebody else who does some of the tech with him, but it's just, we've got a UX designer who's really good at what she does, and we're just needing to build it bigger, faster, because we had a timeline and people are literally throwing money at us. And like here, we're just starting in Austin, but Zilker Hillside is throwing money at us. Zach Theater is throwing money at us. Tex Arts is throwing money at us. Pinfold's throwing money at us. You know, these big companies that you're nodding your head like, yeah, I know all those people. So we're trying to make it a little bit faster. And I went to a conference this past weekend with 100 different theaters, and 25% of them said, yes, I want to buy your product tomorrow. So that's kind of exciting. You know, it's one of those, like, it's a target niche, yeah, but there's still $500 billion spent every year in live theater in America. And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And this specific software that we're making is not for founders or ticket sales or seats. It's for the creative side. And it's one of those, like, oh, it's this ivory tower and I never understand them. No, in fact, it's just slightly complicated recruiting software. It's a piece of business process management that we're building. So it's totally doable. It's just really kind of complex. So if you want a complex problem,
how far are you in the code?
You'll have to speak to my CTO about that. I really am. I'm not even, in front of this group of women, I'm totally not even going to pretend to know what I'm talking about. In front of the theaters, I can totally fake it.
If you're still looking at architecture and stuff, I'd like to talk to.
Well, we're pretty solid on that. Okay. We're pretty solid on some of the skills that we're looking for, and we've started some of the foundation. But definitely, for sure. Yeah. Do you have my card?
Yeah, I do have your card.
Does anybody need a card? Yes.
A literal card?
It's a literal card because that's how I roll. But again, you know, if you're going to create the kind of culture that you want, like, let's create what we want. You know, we had this idea. It was our Christmas party time. Yeah, it was our Christmas party. I was like, you know, do we have a Christmas party? I was like, no. We're going to just go the hell home and spend 36 hours not looking at any of us, because at the Christmas party you're going to talk about work anyway, so just go home to your families and we'll pay you the $50 we would have spent. And everybody said yes. You know, so that's part of it. And I've rambled on. This is why I lose my voice, because I like to talk. I think what we're doing is something kind of amazing. And we've got some investors that, we've got some theaters that agree, we've got some money and investors that agree, and there's 6 of us right now, and we're looking at he's going through the last round, the 7th. And so, yeah, kind of come join us. Again, we're startup, so we can really only pay you in breakfast tacos. But, projects and grow it. Yeah, anyway. Impresario. An impresario is the Italian word for the manager of your opera. And we've got some big plans for it too, not just in Austin, but yes, impresario. Dot today.
Do you have the positions along with the skills that you're hiring on your website?
Not on our website.
Okay.
Our website right now, AUDITION. Our website right now is very minimal.
Okay.
We're very much going along the line. So our CTO worked for a startup that was bought for $1 gajillion by a bigger company. And when that happened, there was some legal technical stuff. So now this next one that he's working on, we're doing it very, we're not going to say anything until we're 90 days from release. We're doing it all, we've got some very specific things so that we can set ourselves up for some major big expansion. Yeah, so our website's super minimal, but we got a couple of videos, and also our website is actually targeting is targeting the actors and the performers. So that's kind of, you can choose what you want to do. Yeah, but any questions? You can. Sorry, that was almost a lightning talk. That was not what that was supposed to be. Yeah, Mary, impresario.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
I'm Sam. I'm a self-taught Ruby developer. I have a weird background. I'm a mechanical engineer. I worked in aerospace. Then I went into management consulting. Then I did project management with Holly for a while. 2 years? For 2 years. In a closet. And then I
Till I let us out of the closet.
And then I left to become a mommy. And now I do some freelance work while my toddler is not being naps or is in daycare. Oh,
Want a card?
She's brilliant.
Am I next? My name's Karen Kilroy, and I've been doing computer stuff since I was 12, and I'm 54. So I've kind of done everything, all the different jobs. That's all I've ever done is computer jobs. And the last, I had my last baby 22 years ago, and that's when I started doing web development. When I came back from having him. And it's been a long ride, but I'm going to do a lightning talk, so I'm not going to say much else about myself. But I will say I live in Austin, I live downtown, I'm from Akron, Ohio, and I've been here for 3 years. And I welcome anybody that wants to ever talk to me about anything. I'm so excited to see this group.
Awesome.
Hi everyone, I'm Selena, and I have a background in consulting. I used to be an SAP consultant, and now more recently I've been doing Python and machine learning data science, and doing one of the boot camps at Galvanize, and also what's part-time. And then the other part-time is going for a job search, so looking for opportunities in either freelance or projects. Previous to that, I was actually working in a startup in Houston. It was a medical software company had a predictive analytics algorithm. It was really exciting to work there. It's just they were having a lot of trouble getting funding. So kind of along the same lines of what I'm doing now with Python and machine data science. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here because I really like the fact how everybody's here is presenting themselves and giving you tips on the coding or anything they want to share. So it's really cool.
Hi, my name's Maria Nicolosi. I've been in Austin since the beginning of October as well. I'm working as the lead web designer for a government contract, actually. We're redesigning the Job Corps website, which hopefully will stick around for a while, we'll see. So anyway, that only goes till the end of June, so I need to start looking for what I'm gonna do next. I've worked in, well, I have a master's in print, web, and video design, which is a little broad for a master's degree. So been mostly like an in-house designer at companies where I'm sort of asked to do everything and do a good bit of front-end development work as well. So I think I'm probably looking to move more into being, I guess I'm still trying to decide if I want to go more UI UX design, which was what I was doing in the last company, or if I want to focus more on development and coding. I definitely get more excited about coding, like solving those problems was always really exciting. I would celebrate when I figured something out because I didn't have a developer there to help me, work through it. So yeah, that's me.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm from Wisconsin. I've been here for 5 years now. I did my first line of code with MySpace. Loved it. I thought it was so cool. I work as a digital producer working on a CMS system, which is about 20 years old. And I want to hit my head against the computer every day. It's so boring. And so I'm here to network and meet other women in this industry because I made it a career goal for myself to transition as a full stack engineer by the end of the year. So go 2017. So yeah, so I'm excited. So I'm probably going to pick everyone's brains at some point. Cool.
Hi, I'm Shelly. I am a web developer. I was a dentist and I quit 3 months ago. And so I'm teaching myself and I feel like I know a lot of stuff and I feel like in order to go further I need to, do real things, work with a team, that kind of stuff. So I'm looking for like internships, apprenticeships, types of things.
In what?
Web development. Just mostly front end right now. I want to know JavaScript really well before I start doing the back end stuff. And that's where I am.
Welcome. I'm here. Oh, do you guys want to start that way and then I'll...
Sure. We know you already.
What's your
Who can remember my name from?
Oh, you're right.
I got it.
Kelly
Garcia. I'm social media.
My stuff is typically Rocky Nash. Goes way back, but it just kind of carried over.
Huge nerd, always open, whole life. Kind of sum it up. I'm an Android and iOS engineer, currently the director of mobile engineering for Tab Down. We're a startup in Austin, but now we're 7 years old, so we've matured. But it's a lot of fun, and the path that got me here is I always wanted to be in tech. Saw that's where I was going, and the company that I worked for allowed me to push and push and push until they finally created a role for me in IT, where I became QA, and then QA was awesome. They kept bringing stuff, and I really wanted to understand why, so I started learning. All self-taught, but it's not a bad thing. It's persistence is key.
It's awesome. I have all kinds of respect for people who are self-taught. I couldn't do it myself. You did it.
Self-taught
Ashley did it.
Yeah.
It just might take longer.
Yeah, but with the resources that are out there these days, oh man, I wish we had them 7 years ago. Definitely getting better every day.
A ton of good resources on the web.
There's so many. It's crazy. They've got like an encyclopedia. My name's Ashley. Thanks for the lead in, Kelly. I'm Karen. I am also a self-taught web developer. I started teaching myself like 5 or 6 years ago. I don't even remember. It was crazy. I was stagehand in New York for 5 years. That's what I got my degree in. And then I was like, I would really like to make money and not kill myself every day. So, I really like working with my hands. I kind of miss that part of it, but I do not miss not making any cash. It's really cool being able to pay rent every month. That's like the greatest thing ever. So I got here, and after about 5 years of
language hopping. I think I've tried 7 or 8 different languages, and I could probably still work in them. I learned Ruby, got myself an apprenticeship, and then a job. And now I never get to touch Ruby ever, and I'm always in JavaScript, but it's okay. I've made my peace with that. And today I'm going to talk about some of that business when I get up and talk. But that's my deal.
Hi guys, my name's Mona and I'm still very much a coding noob. I started back in October and I'm still working my way through HTML, CSS, and now JavaScript, which is a huge monster that I'm trying to deal with. But I currently work at UT and definitely looking for a career change. I've been there for 2 years when I moved to Austin. So yeah, if any of you guys know about any internships or like you said, real world opportunities for me to actually apply the things that I'm learning online, or just to see what's out there. It's just it's such a new industry for me. I don't really know much about it, and just to see where I might fit in. So it's nice to meet you guys.
Hey everyone, I'm Beth. I am actually from Cleveland, Ohio. So nice to meet another Ohioan down here. I went to school in Houston, graduated in May of 2015. Took a data analytics consultant job because I kind of liked the staff part of my college career, and I was like, all right, this is cool. Started doing programming on the job there and really, really liked it, and got to a point eventually where I was like, all right, let's do this full time. So I'm currently 2 weeks away from graduating boot camp.
Where are you going?
I am going to Full Stack. No, you're good. Full Stack Academy. They're based out of New York, but I'm going through their first online cohort. And it's been a ton of fun. So if anyone has questions, feel free to ask. They're super awesome organization. I also looked at a lot of Austin area boot camps as well. If you have questions about those. Yeah. Yeah, that's me.
Hi everyone, I am a full stack developer. I'm literally working right now. We had a software release on Friday, and the lead decided to go on vacation to New York City, so I worked all night and was like, fuck you. I'm Holly Gibson, and I founded Women Who Code Austin 3.5 years ago. And I graduated from Maker Square, which is now Hack Reactor. I was in the very first class here in Austin, and they were the first code school in Austin, so nobody knew what a code school was, and nobody wanted to hire me. But I got hired at a startup, because I met them at a meetup. So meetups, you can find jobs there. I was doing Ruby, and I went to the Austin on Rails meetup, and spoke on a panel, because I knew that if I was in front of people, then they would see me and hopefully give me a job. And it worked. A lady came up to me afterwards and said, I'm looking for a Rails developer. Can you recommend someone? I said, I'm looking for a job. And 2 weeks later, I was her only developer. So I worked there for 2 years. I did the server, the database, and the app, and I knew nothing about servers or databases. So lots of Googling. I think code school, we're all self-taught. You know, we learn a little bit in school, and now that I work with front-end developers who have gone to school, I'm like, front-end developers, we're all self-taught, because it's all always changing.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what you learned in school 12 years ago, it's not what we're doing today. So if you don't like learning, this isn't a good job for you, because you'll always be learning. I happen to love learning.
You'll be
bored. Yeah, I happen to love learning. I got bored in all my other careers. I did nonprofit work for a long time in LA, running camps for children with disabilities. I was a restaurant manager for a little bit, an antique dealer, a fitness instructor. I've done a lot of things. And this has definitely been one of my favorite careers and jobs, and I'm really excited. I give all kinds of talks here about finding mentors and getting a better salary, negotiating. Good job. I tripled my salary from before code school, so this is a good career to go into if you want to have a livable wage, and maybe a little more than a livable wage. And if you have kids or things like that, and you want flexible time and to be able to work from home. I'm working right now because I did other things today, and so now I'm filling in my hours and also available because stuff's broken. But, you know, I'm never bored. So if you've ever been on a job and gotten bored, I've never been bored in this job. So I love doing it, and I started Women Who Code because I wanted to meet people here in Austin. I was new to Austin, and I also wanted to help support women in tech since there is, you know, a gender gap in the industry. We make up 8% of engineering teams, and so we need more of us. And this group has been awesome. Most all of my close friends have come from Women Who Code, and we support each other. We meet on the weekends and code together. We do yoga and then we code. We do yoga and then we drink. You know, so there's so much stuff you can do. But you know, you meet friends, and the Slack group is great. You know, we had people talking about interview questions the other day and whether they should ask whether you're married or if you want kids, and we're like, that's illegal. But you know, we support each other and we share stories and we say, don't go work for that company. Go find something better. And you know, ask for a better salary, and you know, don't put up with shit from your coworkers. So we're very supportive, and we're here for you all. I'm glad you all came today. Yay!
I'm Lena. I'm originally from Denver. I'm a teacher right now, and I used to teach at a STEM school before I moved here, where we had like a maker space, like a complete fabrication lab. So then I started teaching myself to code, like basic coding, and then teaching kids to code. And then this last year, since I moved to Austin, I realized that the schools are way behind, in my opinion, from what they were in Colorado. So I've decided that I think I need to make a change. So I've been teaching myself to code on the weekends when I'm not doing school, you know, millions of hours of schoolwork. So wanted to come out to the meetup and just kind of see what else was out there.
Cool. So my name is Heidi. Reason I'm here was because I wanted to also meet you guys in terms of coding. I'm a research scientist, so mostly my forte is with eyes, and I was doing cataract eye research. And I graduated in 2000. I had the opportunity to work with some research teams in terms of the ASR, which is the artificial silicone chip, in terms of implanting it in specific people with eye disease called retinitis pigmentosa. And so they had a specific inclusion criteria. I was fortunate enough to be working on that, working with them, you know, because my actual, my actual preceptor, if you want to call him that, he was into very much prosthetics, eye prosthetics. So they had like really cool things going on there, like Argus, and he was like involved in that. I don't keep in touch, but at least when I was there. And then the person who was like my co-fellow, she also gave me some information on the IMT, which is the implantable miniature telescope. But that was a multi-center trial, and it's a little telescope that they were implanting in people with AMD, which is age-related macular degeneration. Just that they found later that they had issues like with anisoconia, because there were like disparities in terms of different images that were actually being projected onto the retina. So that being said, that was what I was into, doing that. And then after that, I started working with the visually impaired community, which I really enjoyed because I got to work with a lot of AT assistive technology. So I was able to hear more about the Kurzweil NFB. I don't know if you know about that. That's the National Federation for the Blind device, and then JAWS and things of that nature, in terms of different tools or assistive technology out there for this particular community. And so from there, with this, you know, one of my side interests is actually to always motivate, like for instance, high school students, or you know, people that don't know about coding, and they're not very aggressive, very motivated to go out and learn these things that she was saying, you know. And then I was over at the gaming place over there, and then there was another guy that I was speaking to, and he was saying that he's trying to start this Code Sparks thing to actually start teaching elementary school. You know about that? That's what he was saying, to code. So essentially my goal here tonight is I was hoping that I could meet creative people. So that was what I was so excited, just to meet creative people, creative, unique women that actually have something creative to say. Yay! Yay! It's true.
Thank you all for sharing a little bits and pieces of your story. I've enjoyed getting to know a few more of you. We have a few more lightning talks, so we'll go ahead and get started with those. Karen? Sure. Do you want to go next? She's going to talk about e-commerce, e-commerce development specifically.
Yeah. How to get started in e-commerce development. And the reason I picked that for my topic, number one, I'm an e-commerce developer, and number two, there's a really high demand and lots of good paying jobs for e-commerce developers right now. And also too, lots and lots of opportunities to freelance. So first of all, the word free comes to mind. Free is a good way to get started, right? If something's free, you can learn it on your own. And there's some really good software out there that's free that you can learn on your own. But you want to make sure that it has a path to enterprise level. So that when, like, you can learn this free software and then go get a job at a big company because they have the same thing, only the paid version, right? So some examples of that in e-commerce. Can I erase this or? Okay. The first one I'm going to talk about is Magento. And basically what you're building is online stores, right? They can be B2C, which are business to consumer, or they can be B2B, which means that the person who's buying stuff would have to log in. You'd have to know who they are. But you can build either one of these types of applications with the software I'm going to talk about tonight. With Magento, you can download it for free. There's a community edition. There's also an enterprise edition that people pay big, big bucks for. Now the reason, why would somebody pay for it if you can get it for free, right? Does anybody know the answer to that?
Scalability.
Well, scalability is one thing. You do get scalability with it. What's another thing?
Support from the
Support. But the biggest thing is nobody ever got fired for buying IBM. That's like an old saying. Nobody ever got fired for buying IBM. Nobody ever got fired for buying enterprise level software, right? You can't like go to the chairman of the board and say, well, we're running something free that some guy built in his basement. It doesn't work. So that's why there's this jump. And that's why it's important to pick a platform that has a path. So then you can get the higher paying jobs. Because when somebody's paying $50,000 a year for the software, they don't bat an eye at paying $50, $60 an hour for the developers, right? Or more. So you say, well, I'm just getting started in this. I don't know anything. Well, I'll tell you what. There's a lot of guys out there that are making a lot of money that didn't know anything either. And they act like they do and they don't. And I know because I've interviewed them. and I'll tell you, that's the big secret, okay? They all act like they know everything and they don't because nobody knows everything. And nobody can keep up with all this stuff. And that is a fact. So, knowing that, you say, okay, I want to get started. Well, I might go to the Magento.com website and look at it. Say, okay, I can download this, I can install it on my Mac, I can get it running, I can use the environment variables that we were taught how to set up, and that was really good talk. And then I can get this whole thing running locally, right? I can build an online store and play with it, see what I can do, and learn how to do all this. And then, this is how I get even with the guys. Take a certification, right? Now I'm not a rookie. Now I don't have to prove myself, okay? Because when you're female and you're in an all-male business, you never stop proving yourself. It's always over and over and over. So that's important, is to get that piece of paper so you don't have to prove yourself. You walk in, there's a guy sitting there acting like he knows everything. You're there with your piece of paper. They're going to listen to you, okay? So that's important. So you want to choose something that has an upgrade path to an enterprise edition and a certification. Now, there's another option that I've been working with lately. And this one's called Oro. This is brand new. And what this is created by the same guys that built this. And it's another open source platform, right? So you can download it for free. Same thing, it's got a community edition and an enterprise edition. So you're gonna have big companies that will hire you after you learn it. So you can download this for free. Now this also has some other pieces with it. It has Oro CRM and then Oro platform. So what you can do here, this Oro platform, the way they built it, is they took all the pieces that they took to build the e-commerce system and they put them in bundles. So then you can build your own systems on this Oro platform without having to code all the stuff from scratch. So you could like pull in the bundle that does user login, pull in the bundle that lets you create a web page, pull in the bundle that integrates it with a big corporate email system, right? And you don't have to write all that code. So anyway, that's another option is the Oro stuff, and that's all brand new. So you see all this free software. So now, another thing that you can do that's free is you can get free professional tools to make you look like you know what you're doing, right? Now, one of the things is code management, repo. Does anybody here use repos? Anybody use Git?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so a repo. It's real important to know how to use something like a repo, because that's how big teams work. They do code locally, they do commits, they push the commits, they make branches, they merge the branches, push the branches up, pull the branches off to a server to run it. So that's real important that you learn this. There's Bitbucket is the best place to set up repos. And as coders, you can even set up your own repo, like you can do that now. And you can push your 5 things you've built up to your repo and put that on your resume. I haven't done it, but you can do that. So, but for all the projects I work in, they're all in repos. Everything's in repos. My partner that I work with is in Nepal. So if we didn't have something like that, we'd just be constantly stepping on each other. Okay, another important tool is project management tools. This is really, really important. I went out on a consulting gig on Friday, and the guy wanted me to talk to his developers to see if I thought they knew what they were doing, because he didn't think they were getting things done fast enough. And I talked to him and I said, so when you get a request, how do you get it? Do you get a ticket? He says, no, I get, hey, can you do this? And it's like, what? And it's like, okay, do what? And so then the developer has to not only guess what this is, they have to also go around and find all the stuff to do the project with. Nothing is ready for them, right? So it's just a big mess and a big waste of the developer's time. And what it does is it makes the developer look like they don't know what they're doing. They might work on it 3 weeks and come back and have the wrong thing, right? So what you want is to use a project management tool. Jira is what I like. I mean, there's other ones. This is really a nice one. It's by Atlassian.
Which also owns Bitbucket, so they integrate really well.
Right, integrates with Bitbucket, right. And then there's another tool here called Confluence. There's another tool called Confluence that also integrates with it, and Confluence is a wiki. And we use that as a project wiki. And the reason for that is, oh, that guy in the corner, boy, we hope he never leaves because he knows all of it. Well, make him put it in the wiki, for Christ's sake. He's not doing his job, you know. He needs to put the information in so everybody has it. I would fire that guy if he wouldn't cooperate. I really would, because you don't need anybody that bad. Okay, so these tools are not free, but they're cheap. They're like $5 a month per user. Okay, so then the other thing I would like to talk about while we're talking about the word free is really a lot of times, I've heard this question so many times. It's like, oh gosh, you know, you're pretty good, you're starting out. Would you like to do my website for free so you can learn? Anybody heard that one yet? Yeah, I bet you do a good job. You can prove yourself. Guess guess what? The
You can put it on
spoiler
your
alert.
portfolio.
Yeah, the spoiler alert. It's never over. You never stop proving yourself, right? Oh, well, that was a Magento project. I want you to show me how you do Oro now. It's like, yeah, show me some money and we'll talk. So, yeah. I still get asked to do free stuff to show that I can do it. I'm like, you're kidding me, right? So the answer to that is no, you shouldn't do free work for anybody ever. You should do free work for yourself. And while you're doing that free work for yourself, you're building your showcase of what you know how to do, right? I went on a project recently, and I'd been a CTO and I hadn't built any websites for a couple of years and I had nothing to show anybody. I went on a project, so I was like, well, what have you done? I'm going to show them my own website. And they were happy with that. So I have a platformtrainingcompany.com is my training company that I'm a partner in. So anyway, so free work, no. Do the free work, do it for yourself. The last thing I'm going to talk about is setting rates. A lot of people go, well, how much can I charge? Okay, I'm not going to work for free. So how much then? And what I would say is just try it out and see what you get, especially if you get that certification. If you get the certifications, you're golden. You're gonna know what the rate is, and I know recruiters are paying, but you can find out what people are paying from them, by talking to them. You get an idea of what people are paying, and then that's what you charge. And you can always lower your rate, but you can't raise it, while you're negotiating. So start higher than you think somebody might take, and you might be surprised. I can't tell you how many times I've hung up going, you know what, he didn't even bat an eye at 150, when we were all worried about it, So that kind of thing, don't devalue yourself. Don't say you're lucky you've learned this. Don't say you're fortunate. You'll never hear a man say that he's fortunate that he's learned something. He's worked hard for it, right? And you've worked hard for it too, right? We're just used to apologizing for everything. So I would say, just set your rate at something you're comfortable with, something you think will pay. People will pay. I usually ask half down for a project before I'll touch it, and then half when it's done. I never, ever, ever touch anything with no money, ever. I can't say never, because if it's a good contract and I know they're going to pay me every week, then that's different. But if it's a project where they say, I might go in and say, okay, this will be $30,000. I'm not putting out the $30,000. They're going to give me half, and then half when it's done. That's worked for me really well. But that's all I had to say. Do you have any questions? Yeah.
So my question with the e-com, well, first of all, I'll go with the certification. Any particular resources for the certification that you recommend?
Well, if you're going with Magento, right now they have all of their self-led training available for free on their website. And it's only, I think, for the rest of till the end of March. So you can get online and start learning from the self-led courses for free, and then you can download the software onto your Mac and run it, if everybody's running a Mac or a VM.
What are your best resources for finding freelance work?
LinkedIn.
Okay.
I've been on LinkedIn, I think since it started. My brother pestered me, said, oh, look at this, look at this. I'm like, oh, shut up. I spelled it out because he kept bugging me, and man, I was glad I did, because I have 3,000 contacts now on LinkedIn, and I am constantly bombarded with requests for work. I can't answer my phone.
Wow.
And I'm doing well. I live downtown in the Bowie, and I'm doing well, enjoying life. And I highly recommend this for any woman who's considering it, and anything that I can do to help you. I'm Karen Kilroy on LinkedIn, and I think I'm Karen Kilroy on Twitter too. And then, yeah. And also too, meetups. There's a Magento meetup, and I don't know when the next one is. I don't run that, but I do run the Oro meetup. And the Oro meetup, the next Oro meetup is on the 22nd. Yeah.
And then my other question was related to more of a globalization perspective. Would you be able to, this is domestic, would you be able, or here in the United States, would you be able to describe something globally in terms of e-commerce?
You
Like,
mean,
yeah, different
well, like
market?
multi-currencies, multi-language, that type of
Something
thing?
of- yeah, something of that nature, 'cause
And
I
these
was
packages
thinking-
that I'm talking about, all that stuff's already built. So you don't have to build all this code. What you do is you implement the features you want, and then what you do is you override pieces of code, right? So you're not actually building this whole big thing. Like even when you modify the behavior of something, like let's say you want to change the way the checkout works. You just extend this model called checkout, right? You take the functions in checkout and you just extend them. You don't even have to rewrite all of them. So, it's like the code is already there. And then there's also, communities you can talk to and ask people, hey, how'd you code this? What'd you do? Look things up. And the Magento has a Magento 1 that I think is much easier to learn than the new one, which is Magento 2. But the market for Magento 2 is going to be big. So if you can get that under your belt and get certification when they come out with it, they haven't come out with the 2 certification yet. That's just, you'd be golden. I'm telling you, they knock your door down for this stuff.
Well, I guess because I was speaking to someone about e-commerce in the Philippines, are you privy to that information or something? He was, kind of talking to me about that, so I was wondering if you had any feedback on that, or if you were aware of that, or was that just something?
Of what with the?
E-commerce, the e-commerce market in the Philippines, is that something?
I'm not familiar specifically, with certain geographies, but I've built international sites. And you can make it behave differently based on where they're coming in from.
I was just wondering.
Yeah.
I heard. Okay, thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions, comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Karen.
All right, that was very informational. The company I used to work for before, we integrated e-commerce websites, and Magento was one of them. Anyway, Ashley, you're our next, and I think after that, depending on time, probably, we'll go. But
thank you.
All right, you're good.
Probably okay, unless something
Do
catches
you
on.
need to, do you want to connect?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
It's cool. Magic. So I really want it to mirror. It'd be really cool if it mirrored, because then I'd know what's happening here. Let's find out. Mirror displays. Awesome.
Okay, you just had it.
Great. That's good. That's a thing. Hey, that's a thing. Okay, so it says that I'm going to talk about the JavaScript file API. I'm really just talking about, last week I got to sit in a meeting where I got to compose a solution in my head, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So this is JavaScript's file API, or how I compose solutions with my Dev Toolkit. So I'm sitting in a meeting, it's another stand-up, it's kind of boring today, but I suddenly hear, we need this thing, and I said, what? We need a new tool. Yes, I have been swimming in legacy code for months, I'm ready for a new tool, I want to build it all by myself, give it to me now. This tool needs to live on our servers. It needs a really friendly UI. It needs to take a CSV file as an input, it needs to parse that CSV file, and then it needs to spit out really helpful error messages. Who knows what a CSV file is? Okay, cool. I don't really need to fill everybody in. Who doesn't know what a CSV file is? Yes. Okay, great. So I need to parse this thing. I need to be able to get it off of somebody's computer. This is my response. It's mine. And everybody else is like, that sounds really boring. But I'm like, dude, I've got this sweet text processing book that I just bought. I'm really excited about using the stuff in that. I want to write some more functional React components. Our code base is a mess, and I really want to have one place that's an example of at least marginally modular code, as opposed to the big pile of spaghetti that JavaScript turns into after about a year and a half. So, like any good developer, I thought to myself, as I broke up this problem into its component parts, there's probably a package for that. There's probably a package for parsing CSVs. There's probably a package for pulling in a file from the file system in a browser. There's probably a package for X, Y, Z. And then there's obviously React, like I said, to make my pretty UIs. And I wanted to learn Redux. It's a little bit heavy for what I wanted, but I'm going to use it anyway. So here's a little bit of process. First things first, I escape so I can go to other places. I'm sorry, you can watch my process. All right, so I get my little mock-ups going, and I'm like, this is what I want it to look like. Yeah, there's a login page, I don't really care. But first, I want to be able to be super friendly, right? I'm not going to make a command line tool because this isn't for a developer. This is for somebody in admin who just wants to know if the CSV file is parsable by this processing, the thing that's going to happen later on that they don't understand. And I probably don't understand it either. So I want to be able to like drag and drop some files into this little thing, put them into a queue, show them what files they're going to be using. Oh no, I didn't want this one. Get rid of it, and then tell it to reveal a bunch of errors. It'll then spit out that same list again saying, this file's okay, these two files have errors, click on one of those files, look at the errors. So I'm going to show you about as far as I've gotten in the last week or so, which isn't very exciting. It's basically to this part where I can get files from here to here and then parse them. But you're not going to see any errors. Sorry, it's only been a week. So I went online and, like I said, like a good developer. Ha, did you see that? Look what I looked up. Yeah, girl. I'm after you. So I've been working through this lovely set of resources. I really, really recommend this series if you're interested in learning React and Redux because they work really lovely together. But then, like I said, there's probably a package for the thing that I need, right? Oh, yes, there is. This is called Pop-A-Parse. It works inside of your browser. You just come over here. Here's the little demo that they show you. It's like, oh, I'm going to grab this giant file. I choose this file. It's called big.csv because it's really big. And if I tell it to parse it, it'll just go through and parse the whole thing, and it comes out with like this object with all this data, this file with all of this information. This is, by the way, the file API, right? These are all of the different properties that this file object has. It's beautiful. And then it'll tell me that the parse is complete. It tells me how much time it took, how many rows there were in it, etc., etc., etc. I also, because I've got that lovely little text processing book, have learned that, all right, you only have so much memory available to you at any given time when especially if you're in a browser, right? So this is like, what is that? 1 million lines long? 1 million? Yeah, it's like 1 million lines long. That could, anything like an order of magnitude higher than that could just like choke up your browser. So you can use a streaming process. Does anybody know what streaming means in the context of file processing? Or is anybody not? Because I'm really excited about explaining this. I'm going to explain it anyway.
Explain it.
Yes! Okay, so you've got this big long CSV file, and like it kind of looks like this, and you're like, oh my god, it goes forever, and you just like, it's kind of like if you were to say, I'm going to fold all of the socks on my block. And I only have this table in front of me. I can dump all of the socks on the table and be super overwhelmed and be like, oh my god, I hate everything in my life. Or I can take one pair of socks out of the basket at a time, fold it, and put it over here. Take a pair out, fold it, put it over here. I don't hate my life. I'm only dealing with one pair of socks at a time. So what a stream will do is it'll take one row or one chunk of data into your memory at any given time, do its work on it, take a step, do its work, and then spit out whatever you need on the other side and bring in the next thing. And I'm like, this is great. I know how to do this. I can solve this problem. And so I did it using this Pop-A-Parse thing, and React had a lovely component all ready for me called React Drop Zone. It's really neat. You just like, here's another demo. Everybody's got demos. It's great. So this drop zone accepts only images. You can drop some stuff here, just click it to select files to upload. I got this GIF that I found, remember Pick Me? Open that, it'll show you some stuff. It's got like a little preview, and it's there, and it's ready for me to pick out of my application and just use. So then I just coded some stuff, and it took me some days, and so it seems like, well, are you kidding me right now? This took you days? But no, seriously, it did. Because it's code, and what do you want from me? And so I built this little thing. It's a React application that's connected up with a little bit of Redux. That package that I showed you with the drop zone takes a little method that you can define yourself called onDrop. Accepted files. Whenever I accept a file, I want to add an object to my uploads.
I want to save the status, because remember how I had this lovely little thing over here? Right here that says, these are unprocessed. This is processed and it's okay. This is processed and it has an error. So I'm going to just keep that information somewhere and make it like a class or something. And I'm really excited about that too. So I decided to save that and then dispatch an action to a Redux store to add an set of uploads. Hooray! And now we can see it in action. I'm super stoked about this. Where did I put it? I put it over here. And I have an eligibility file validator. And it looks so ugly because I didn't do any CSS because I don't like CSS. But I can take that big CSV that I found earlier and I can delete it. I got rid of it. Okay, so that's 2 actions that I wrote. And then I tell it to validate. And my validate right now, the parse is really only, it's going to tell me that it's parsing. It's going to iterate over rows. It's going to increment the row number every single time, and then at the very end it's going to tell me how many rows were parsed and the results. And wow. And it works! I'm so excited about all of this. So that was basically like my life every day as a developer. I started this as an apprentice. Like I said, I learned for like 5 years before that, so it takes a long time, and there's a lot of things to learn. But I started as an apprentice with my company. We're called Move It, and I'm going to go back to this because there's another slide. I swear there's one more slide to show you who I am. My name is actually Michal Lewis. That's my Twitter handle, and I work for Move It, and we're having another web development apprenticeship that's starting in April. So we're accepting applications. If you're one of those people that's like, I don't know if I'm ready, I don't know if I'm ready. I didn't know if I was ready, so that worked out okay. You should come work with me because we need more ladies, please.
And she's a lot of fun. We roomed together at a conference last year, and she's great. So
Strange Loop was awesome. Also, on that note, if you've never seen Julia Evans' stuff, go look her up like right now.
Julia Evans is an amazing backend programmer who makes all the weird backend stuff sound cool.
She makes it sound so exciting.
She does illustrated web zines with her own little character with half a head of curly hair.
Yeah, and they're all about Linux tools. What do you want? Does anybody have any questions about the ramblings I just spouted?
How come you're not doing Ruby yet? Move It anymore?
Oh my god.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make you sad.
It just happened. I mean, I got stuck on the, or not stuck. I actually really love my project because the challenges that we face every day are crazy, but like everybody just wants React and Node right now.
Yeah.
Which is fine, and I've made peace with the JavaScript demons, so it's okay. But yeah, I do kind of miss my Ruby. That's why my text processing book actually is in Ruby. And when I first got this, I went to my project manager and was like, "Could we maybe do it in Ruby?" And he's like, "No, we don't. Nobody else knows how to do that." I know, it's really sad. It's cool. I'll have more projects. I'll do them myself. Anyway, thank you. Well, that is it for today. We're going to move Holly's lightning talk to next month, so you'll have to come back.
We're out of time.
Yeah, we're also out of time. So we have about 5 minutes before they kick us out, I think. But you are welcome to talk in the hallway. Please take food, take chips, take cookies, drink the wine because I can't drive with it. There's open container laws. So please drink it. Thank you all for coming. I hope to see you here next month and to do more networking. But follow us on Twitter. Follow the people that shared their Twitter handles. I'm sure most of us follow Women Who Code, so you can creep on us there and follow us. Join the Slack group. But thank you all so much for coming. Yay!
Thank you so much for sharing. Yes. It's exciting. It is more than a full time.
Process is great.
Do you want to learn process? Do you want to come help me?
like if you have a bunch of headers, so like say date of birth, right? And it comes out like this, right? To start with, it'll actually turn this into a JSON object that says, oh, and it's got another line, right? So it'll be actually. Another one, right? So this will actually all come out as the same. And it'll come out as a list of these, right? It'll come out as a list of these where it's just like, hey, you've got all of this information that's ready to go. And it's just a whole bunch of these little objects that you can then turn into, like this can turn into an object. So I'm pretty sure that, so you're in Python? I'm pretty sure that there's a CSV parser in Python. It might be in their base library. Look in their base library because a lot of that kind of stuff usually, like you might have to import a module or something like that. But yeah,